Hi, everyone, and welcome. Going to give stragglers a few minutes to come in and get situated. I know for myself, sometimes it's hard to get to a webinar on time because of last-minute calls or just stuff that has to get done. Anyway, I'm super excited that you are here and that you're going to join us today. If you will do me a favor and there's a little text box, little chat box on the webinar page. If you can please type in your name and where you're from. You don't have to log into Chatango. You can just be as an anonymous user, but just put in your name and where you're from. Your name in that chat box will enter you into our drawing at the end of the webinar to see who wins that first book, that 21 Degrees of Change, or actually, it's not called 21 Degrees of Change. But anyway, you get a free book at the end of this. And if you're in a drawing for a free book at the end of this, if you're listening to this live, unfortunately for the replay, I can't give away the free book. The book is available for free for a download. However, at the end of this, or at any time during this, the 21-day program, anytime you need some inspiration for some recipes, etc. So I'm going to be giving you guys that information at the end of this webinar. So don't worry, you'll have that download information. So I'm going to go ahead and get started because I know that the people who are listening want to get going and finding out exactly how to jumpstart your health this spring. My gosh, it was a busy winter for everybody. Lots of flu bugs going around, lots of colds, people coughing for weeks on end, and it's just not necessary. We know how to boost our immune system. We know how to get healthy for the long term. And doing a purification program is a great way to jumpstart your health. So I'm going to share my screen with you all. Here it is. All right. So this spring, I know a lot of people who are tired and they have weight loss challenges. They just can't shed those extra pounds. Their digestion is not working for them. How many people do you know who have gas, bloating, indigestion, acid reflux, some type of constipation? That's a big one. How many people do you know with poor digestion? So our liver is really responsible for helping us process all that stuff out of our bodies, all those toxins out of our bodies. And so we have to go through these phases. We have a pretty toxic world that we live in, and we need to transform our health. We need to purify, we need to detoxify, and I'm going to tell you about an amazing way to do that. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jennifer Schmidt, and I'm the founder of Oasis Wellness. And I'll tell you a little bit about more me in a second. All right, so me, who am I? Who is this person talking on the webinar? Some of you know me. Some of you have known me for a long time. I have lots of letters after my name. I went to school, paid a lot of money to get these letters. I'm a registered nurse, but I also have a master's of science in nursing. I'm a certified clinical nurse leader, which basically means I'm a troubleshooter and I can solve lots of problems. And I'm a certified public health nurse. I also have a doctorate of naturopathy. And I came into naturopathy before I came into nursing. And the reason I did that was because we had really started looking into alternative forms of health. I had had so many bad experiences in mainstream medicine throughout the years. It was very frustrating. And so I saw our local naturopath in the little town we lived in. And to be honest with you, he was kind of a jerk. So I thought, I got to do this myself. Even if I wasn't going to do it as a career, I wanted to be able to understand natural healing methods for my family. And little did I know that 15 years later, I would be sitting here talking to you as a full-time practitioner, helping people to uncover the root causes of their health problems so that they can really live life to the fullest and heal for good. So, as part of that, I've also discovered that I am an intuitive healer, and that helps me to really uncover those root causes. So many people think they have thyroid issues, and most of the time, the thyroid is not the root cause. Most of the time, that root cause is something going on with that digestion or just pure chronic stress. When you're living life 10, 15, 20 years of this chronic stress, it's going to blow you out and your whole system is going to suffer. And for a lot of people, that manifests as thyroid problems. So I'm really good at helping people figure that out. I have over 20 years of experience teaching, and 15 of those are in the healthcare sector. I love teaching people. I love watching their faces light up when they get it, when they understand how their body really can work for them. I founded Oasis Wellness in 2014 in Santa Clara, California, because I knew that I needed to dive into this full time. I had been doing it part-time for many years, but this is really what fuels me. It's my purpose. And my mission is to be at the forefront of a new paradigm of healing and wellness using earth-based holistic practices and the best available products and modalities. All it takes is 2 minutes in the supplement section at Whole Foods to get fully confused. What's out there, all the different products that are out there, even all the different cleansing products that are out there. You guys, you don't have to do this alone. I'm here to help you figure out exactly what you need so that you don't have really expensive pee. Because a lot of those supplements that you get at Whole Foods, you're just going to pee them out. So my mission is to make sure that you know exactly what you need to take your health to the next level. So why do we need to purify anyway? What is this whole purification detox thing? There are 80,000 chemicals registered for use in the US. So many of these chemicals can affect our body systems, our immune system, our nervous system, our endocrine system, our reproductive system. For instance, let's talk about artificial food coloring for a minute. The United States produces $15 billion of artificial food coloring every single year. Those food colorings are put into our foods, and those are toxic chemicals that go into our bodies. They affect our health. They affect our children's health on multiple levels. So we got to get these chemicals out of there. Let's not talk about all the air pollution, the stuff coming out of our cars or all the EMFs, all the stuff that's in our environment. Hey there. So if you're just joining us now, be sure to put your name and location in the chat box that you'll scroll down underneath on the screen and let us know that you're here. So that's how I'm going to know who to give the free book away to. So make sure you put your name and where you're from into that chat box below. If you have a question, you can also put that into the chat box below. So how do toxins affect our health? Well, I know for so many people, it manifests as difficulty sleeping. Some people have difficulty falling asleep, and some people have difficulty staying asleep. But that just translates into everyone being super tired, right? It's like a competition. Who's the most tired person? I know a lot of people who could raise their hands. Digestion and gastrointestinal problems. Those toxins, those chemicals, they can rip up the insides of our intestines. Did you know that? They can affect how we digest proteins. They can cause bloating and gas. And the worst of all, I think truly, is constipation. Being stopped up is painful. It's frustrating. It can make you bitchy. It's just not a fun place to be. And it taxes your liver. So those are things you don't want. So many people dealing with food cravings and weight gain. Wow, we've got a lot of sugar addicts out there, especially among our youth, our teenagers. They are junk food junkies. And I was there myself until I was 25 when my health fell apart. My health completely collapsed and I had to pick up the pieces and start eating healthy. Instead, I was also quite overweight at that time. So, you don't realize sometimes that the toxins that are in your body can actually prevent you from losing weight because they are confusing your system. They're overwhelming your system, your metabolism that's trying to figure out, wait, what do I do with all this stuff? And it doesn't know, so it just stores it in fat cells. A lot of people complaining about brain fog, reduced mental clarity. So when you've got those toxins built up into your system, it's really hard to think clearly. And then there's the low libido. Oh my gosh, you guys, we are supposed to want to have sex. This is a normal thing. We're supposed to want to have sex. But when your libido is low, it's likely because you've got some toxins that are in your system that are affecting the way your body uses the chemicals it needs to get healthy. And it's going to take all those hormones and put them into stress instead of feeling a little warm and spicy. We do live in a toxic and chemical environment, don't we? There are so many pollutants. There's lots of chemicals in the air and the water. Smoking is still somewhat prevalent. There's someone in my office who smokes outside. It drives me crazy because every time I go to my car, it stinks. Personal care products. This is a big one. Did you know that the cosmetics, the toxic cosmetics, the non-organic, the non-natural cosmetics are so full of carcinogenic chemicals? They cause cancer. They cause all sorts of health issues. People don't know. This is a billion-dollar industry, right? Then there are heavy metals. The mercury amalgam fillings in your mouth are toxic. They are causing problems like brain fog. Household cleaning products. I know the minute somebody walks in my office, when they use a fabric softener or a dryer sheet that is heavily scented, I smell it the minute they walk in. Those scents are toxic, my friends. You don't want them on your body. You don't want them in your clothes. They build up in our system. Pesticides and herbicides. I think Monsanto is an evil word. They are doing so much damage to our world with chemicals like glyphosate and all those pesticides and herbicides. If you see grass at a park that does not have a weed, you probably don't want to be walking on it or lying on it because it's going to be full of chemicals. Pharmaceutical drugs. Don't even get me started about how pharmaceutical drugs can affect your health and well-being. They're one of the number one causes of erectile dysfunction in our world. They build up in our systems. They build up in our water supply. Preservatives and additives. We already talked about those artificial food colorings being a $15 billion industry. They're derived from coal tar. Not something that I want to be putting in my body. And then there's so many other preservatives in the food. Trans fats, where they change the chemical structure of a fat so it's more solid at room temperature, but that's also toxic for our body. Of course, there's so much more. I could do a whole presentation on the chemicals in our environment. So why do our internal organs matter? How do they assist us in jumpstarting our health? How do they assist us in the purification process? So our big workhorse is the liver. And the liver is responsible for many different processes. It's filtering out toxins. It's aiding the body in metabolizing fat and protein and carbohydrates. And it helps take these toxins and convert them into harmless agents that we can then just excrete. And I'll talk about this more in a minute. So it takes a toxic chemical, let's say it's an antibiotic, and it metabolizes it a couple different ways so that we can then excrete it out. The kidneys partner with the liver. The kidneys filter fluid. You could say that the liver filters a lot of the solids with the large intestine, and the kidney filters the fluids and the waste that's in our blood. It's also playing with those electrolytes. So if you've ever gotten yourself dehydrated, you know what happens when your electrolytes are out of balance, right? Maybe you got the stomach flu. Maybe you went for a walk on a really hot day and you sweat a lot. But the kidney is responsible for managing those electrolytes, the sodium, the phosphorus, and the potassium. There are other electrolytes. If we don't have them in the right balance, it really affects our body and our body's ability to process things properly, to process the toxins and the fluids. And sugar is something else that the kidneys have to filter out of the blood. If there's too much, this is how diabetes can cause kidney damage, because the kidneys are responsible for filtering out that glucose. And glucose is a very difficult molecule. It's very big, and it can tear up the capillaries, those little tiny blood vessels that are in the kidneys. Oh, the small intestine. So we think of the small intestine as one big tube that's all curvy throughout our abdomen, but it actually has 3 different parts. And those parts help us digest different segments of food so that the nutrients can be absorbed into our blood and transported to the liver. And the small intestine also provides a 6-layer barrier that blocks toxins from the rest of the body. I think the small intestine is probably the most underrated piece of equipment we have in our digestive system because it does have that barrier. The problem is most of us, our 6-layer barrier is down to 1 layer or 2 layers. Some people don't have any barrier, and those toxins are getting absorbed directly into the blood. And then there's the large intestine, or poop maker, if you want to think of it that way. And the large intestine is pretty much the last stop for some of the waste. So it's being absorbed by some water's being absorbed, the wastes are being absorbed, the wastes are not being absorbed because hopefully the large intestine is just absorbing the water and those minerals, the calcium, the magnesium, the potassium, and the phosphorus, and the sodium, and all the other stuff that we don't really need is going to be excreted through our feces, through our poop. The large intestine also produces antibodies for gastrointestinal health. What does that mean? Well, when you combine the small and the large intestine, it makes up for 70% of our immune system. Isn't that amazing? If you don't have a healthy gut, you're not going to have a healthy immune system. Just not going to be able to do it. And then the large intestine, as does the small intestine, it also contains bacteria that creates fatty acids and some vitamins like vitamin K for blood clotting for extra nutritional support. So we've all heard at this point about the microbiome and probiotics, how we all need to be taking a probiotic. And that's because these bacteria and yeasts and fungi have a specific job for our digestive system, for our immune system. They each have their own job that they have to do. And if they're not working properly, then guess what? Our digestion isn't going to be working properly. If you take an antibiotic, it takes up to 1 month, sometimes longer, to rebuild the beneficial bacteria in your gut. So if you are prescribed an antibiotic by your provider, it's very important to make sure you're taking a probiotic and continuing to take a probiotic after you've completed, even weeks after you've completed the dosage of antibiotic. This is definitely something you'd want to talk to your provider about. Let's go back to the liver. I love the liver. I try to love up my liver every day. So many things that are hard on our liver, like alcohol and, like I said, pharmaceutical drugs. Sugar is very hard on the liver. Soy can be difficult on the liver because soy contains chemicals called phytoestrogens. Those are chemicals that mimic the hormone that we have called estrogen, and the liver is responsible for breaking those up. So how does it do that? Well, there are 2 phases of detoxification in the liver. We have phase 1, which is completed by the cytochrome P450 enzymes. And the phases of that are oxidation, reduction, and hydrolysis. I won't talk too much about that. Basically, you can imagine that these chemicals are broken up and attached, the enzymes attach themselves to these toxins, no matter what they are, so that the liver can then move on to phase 2. And phase 2 is those are the conjugation pathways. So what that means is they are turning those toxins, those metabolites, into something that's not harmful, and the body can then excrete it, either through the feces or the urine, through peeing. And these are pretty complicated processes. If we don't have the right nutrients in our body, or if our liver gets overwhelmed by all the toxins, it's not going to do a very good job of getting those toxins out. And what happens? Those toxins get stored in fat tissue. They get stored in our brain and our nervous system tissue. They can go to organs like our thyroid and cause problems there. So we really want to make sure that our liver is functioning super efficiently, getting all that stuff out so that we can just excrete the toxins and be super optimally healthy people. I don't know if you've ever heard of the standard American diet. The acronym is SAD because our diet is so sad. And really, our diet contributes so much to our toxic load and excess weight. Monosodium glutamate, also known as MSG. Don't get me started. It's found in most restaurant foods. I can tell immediately if I've had something with MSG, it makes me very sick. And then it's partner in crime, aspartame, which is marketed as something called equal, often in sodas. Diet soda is not healthy. Sorry, it's toxic. It's got lots of chemicals in it. Those both monosodium glutamate and aspartame are neurotoxins. They're called excitotoxins. They basically stimulate your brain cells until they die. Hi, that leaves holes in your brain. Doesn't feel good, does it? So I really do everything I can to avoid those chemicals in my diet. Unfortunately, not everyone knows this. They think a diet soda is a healthy choice. They think it's not so bad when they're eating canned soup that's full of these flavor additives like MSG. But really, those chemicals accumulate in our body. High fructose corn syrup, there's another one. I think they wanted to change the name of that to corn sugar. I'm not sure if they were successful yet. I am horrified by that concept because they know that high fructose corn syrup is unhealthy. Our liver doesn't know how to break it down. It's so hard on the liver. And so they want to change the name so people are clueless and ignorant once again. But my friends, we know the truth. We know that high fructose corn syrup is so bad for us, so hard on the liver. Trans fats. These are the oils that have been chemically altered so that our body doesn't know what to do with them. And so trans fats they've come out of the closet about trans fats over the last, 10, 15 years, 20 years. And so what have they replaced them with? Genetically modified oils. Yeah, that's also not good. Like, just use real fat, people. It's not going to hurt you. The real fats are healthy. And then sugar. Oh my gosh. We are a nation of sugar addicts. Everyone struggles with sugar. And I have kids who come into my office and they clearly need to change their diet for their health, but the parents don't want to give up their sugar. The parents want the sugar in the house because the parents are addicts themselves. And it breaks my heart because the children are not going to get the health they need if their parents are not on board with them. So doing a purification program is a great way to get sugar out of the diet. And we'll talk about that a little bit more further into the webinar. So what are we Americans eating? So we talked about the 80,000 chemicals in the world, or that are approved in the US rather. 3,000 of those get added to our foods. 3,000 chemicals are added to your food. Is that crazy or what? Now, the average American consumes more than 75 pounds of sugar annually. I know that people listening to this webinar are already pretty much on board to decreasing their sugar burden. That means a lot of people are consuming more than 75 pounds of sugar annually. Can you imagine? That's at least a quarter pound of sugar a day, if not more. Blows my mind. Sugar contributes an average of 16% of the total calories in the American diet. I could do an entire webinar on sugar. If you guys want me to, I will. Let me know in the chat box down below. But sugar is so detrimental to our health on multiple levels. Let's talk about obesity trends and overweight trends, because to me, this is fascinating. This is in 1990, where predominantly the country, we were kind of split half and half. The Midwest had 10 to 14% of the people were overweight, or about 30 pounds overweight, BMI greater than or equal to 30. This is 1990. What happens 10 years later? Oh my gosh, only one state is at that 10 to 14% marker, and that's Colorado. The rest of the states have doubled. They've doubled in the amount of people who are overweight. 2009, 9 years later, doubled again. Now Colorado is again the lone state with 15 to 19% of its population being overweight. This is huge, because what this means is that people are eating more chemicals. There's a higher chemical burden in the body. When there's that higher chemical burden, whether that's brought in through food or the environment, the body can't break it down. It's just going to store those toxins in fat cells. Now, I have a toxicity questionnaire that I often have clients fill out that helps them evaluate their toxicity levels and determine if they need to detoxify. If you would like a copy of that, I will send it out with the replay for the webinar so that everyone has that. And it's really interesting to see. It's based on a score of, I think, 100. And wow, you guys, people can be really toxic. It's so sad. And how does that manifest? That manifests in symptoms like headaches, people who get chronic headaches, in snoring, in brain fog, in exhaustion, in the fatigue, in the difficulty sleeping. So what can we actually do in 21 days? What can happen in 21 days of eating super clean and getting those toxins out of your body? Magic can happen. So we're addressing the toxins, right? And then what happens when you address those toxins? What happens when you help your liver to get those toxins out? Well, guess what? A lot of people lose weight. Some people, their scale doesn't change, but they notice that their clothes feel different. And that's because they're building more muscle. As they get rid of the fat, the body can take the food, the nutrients that are coming in, and put it on as muscle. Living a healthier lifestyle in 21 days helps you establish habits that you didn't necessarily incorporate before. You'll have more energy and your digestion will improve. You guys, you should be having a bowel movement at least once a day. Most people who come to see me say, yeah, I have normal poops. I mean, I might skip a day, like every other day, or sometimes I'll go like 3 or 4 days without having a bowel movement. But no, my doctor says that's normal. And that's not normal. You want to be having at least one easy bowel movement a day. This is not where you're like sitting on the toilet for half an hour going, trying to get it out. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like it shouldn't be a painful experience. I had one client who came in, she started working with me a couple months ago, and she came in at her second session and she was gushing. She was so excited. It's like, oh my God, I have to talk to you about my poop. Because for the first time in her life, pooping was an enjoyable experience. And she was going 2 or 3 times a day at regular times in the morning, sometimes in the evening. They were easy. There was no straining. There was no little wiping. I mean, they were these perfect poops, and it was changing her life. Don't underestimate the power of perfect poops. So there have been some studies done using the 21-day purification program, and it found that their blood levels of serum lipids changed and their weight changed when they were being guided by a trained healthcare professional. And I'm going to talk in a few minutes about why it's so important to be under the guidance of a trained healthcare professional. So before I talk about products, I just want to make sure that for those of you guys who are listening, that you're putting your chat information in the box for me. If you can put your name and where you're from, that will enter you into the drawing for the free book at the end, because I love giving stuff away. All right, so let's talk about some of the products that are part of the purification program. There are 4 main products that we use. I call them the foundation products. They're part of every purification program. There's SP Cleanse, which is a purification product to help strengthen the liver and really get that stuff out. There's a protein powder called SP Complete. There's also a dairy-free version. Put a couple scoops into your shakes and smoothies, and I tell you, it tastes really good, and it will help give you some protein and minerals and all sorts of delicious nutrients. There's a fiber. We have some fiber support. We have 2 different versions. We have a capsule version and a powder version. And each person I customize every person's program, so I want to make sure that everyone has the right one. And then SP Green Food. That contains lots of different phytonutrients. What are phytonutrients? Those are the nutrients that are in our plants. And SP Green Food is something that I actually take all the time because my liver loves it. I sleep a lot better when my liver's happy, and I take it all the time because I love it. But it's part of the foundational purification products that we have. Let's talk for a minute about SP Cleanse. It has 20 different ingredients that support the kidney, the liver, and the gallbladder. Helps encourage healthy digestive function and the normal elimination of toxins. Make sure basically it's also helping you to make sure you don't get constipated. And it's helping you eliminate all those things coming out. It's taken on days 1 to 7 of the program. So what do we have in it? We'll just talk about some of the plants that are in SP Cleanse: juniper berry, red clover, apple pectin, burdock. Burdock root has been used medicinally in herbal tinctures for centuries as a way to promote healthy kidney and liver function. Barley grass, lots of different vitamins and minerals and nutrients in barley grass. Spanish black radish, Oregon grapefruit, and fenugreek seed. Fenugreek is long known for its help with both digestion for the bowel and also for allergies because of how it helps with liver function. Most people who have allergies, stuffy nose, sinus, eczema, they have liver backup. Their liver's clogged. And so the fenugreek helps to get things going again. Spanish black radish, I want to talk about for a minute. Officially, it supports detoxification, enzyme activity in the liver. It does so much more. It gets things flowing and moving. I love Spanish black radish as a detoxer. A lot of my clients like it because it gets things moving when they feel like they've been toxic for a while, things are backed up. Not necessarily constipation-wise, but just in general. If you notice, for example, when you're sick sometimes, you feel like your lymph nodes get swollen. The Spanish black radish helps to get that stagnant lymph, the swollenness out of the lymph nodes and out of the body. SP Complete and SP Complete Dairy Free. I personally can't tolerate any dairy, so I do the dairy free, which is a rice-based protein. I love it. SP Complete is a whey-based protein, which is very, very high quality. It's basically whole food nutrition in a convenient powder. So you scoop it into your shakes and you get everything you need. Has amino acids, which are building blocks for proteins, essential fatty acids and other vitamins, supports intestinal, muscular, and immune health, antioxidant activity. You never want to take an antioxidant alone, like ascorbic acid or alpha tocopherol for vitamin E. You want it with the whole food that it's coming from, and that's what SP Complete does. Supports, again, healthy liver function, normal elimination of toxins. We want to get that stuff out. Also helps to support healthy weight. And I'm not talking about being a size 0 when you're 5'7". I'm talking about a healthy weight. Weights where our body's really functioning optimally. We don't have a lot of belly fat, where weight is well balanced throughout the body, combined with a healthy lifestyle. I keep SP Complete Dairy Free in my fridge all the time. I like to have a shake or a smoothie at least once a week, maybe more than that, even when I'm not doing the Purification Program. It's a really easy way to make breakfast on the go because, let's face it, we're all really busy people. And the SP Complete is a great way to help make sure we're getting the nutrients we need. So some of the ingredients in SP Complete, so I talked about the whey protein and the rice protein. Protein, so important. Most of us are protein deficient. We're not getting enough protein. Or some people are getting way too much protein because they're eating the half-pound burger twice a day. We don't need that either. But protein helps to build muscle, build tissue in our body. Barley grass, lots of antioxidants with all the nutrients that go with that. What does that mean? What are antioxidants? So antioxidants are basically scavenging some of the waste products of our cells and getting them out of the body. Rice, buckwheat, and flax, providing not just fiber, but also some healthy fats to get elimination going. And then alfalfa for digestive health and metabolism. I often also use alfalfa for thyroid support, for thyroid health, because it has some iodine in it. Now, I know what you're saying. I've had people ask me, well, I'm paleo, so I can't do the Purification Program. Well, no, that's not true. Yes, you can. And because of the products that are used in the Purification Program. So if you're paleo, no worries. You can still do the Purification Program because it is plant-based, and it is, we'll talk more about some of the proteins that you can add in later on. Also, you'll find in SP Complete and SP Complete dairy-free calcium and magnesium. Magnesium is the unsung hero of the mineral world. If you get leg cramps, that's magnesium. If you have trouble sleeping, could be magnesium. If you're constipated, probably magnesium. Heart palpitations, likely magnesium. You get my picture. Magnesium works together with calcium to keep our bones and teeth strong, our muscles healthy. We can't have muscle contractions if we don't have calcium and magnesium in our body. That's where those cramps come from. Grapeseed and red wine extracts. I know a lot of you are big red wine drinkers for the health reasons. Well, don't worry. You're going to have those same healthy components in the SP Complete for your heart health. Buckwheat, again, coming up, it also supports healthy blood vessel walls. So everyone thinks about the big veins, right? The big arteries, the things you can see. But those little teeny tiny capillaries, they do so much work for our body. And if they're leaky or stiff and nutrients can't get passed back and forth between the capillaries, man, that's bad. And so this is, again, why diabetes causes so many health issues that are related to the circulatory system. It's because the high blood sugar is causing a lot of damage to those capillaries. So buckwheat helps to keep those blood vessel walls strong. Choline and inositol. You guys, if you ever tasted choline and inositol on their own, they taste like sweet tarts. I think we should give them out on Halloween instead of all the crap that is passed out on Halloween. Just give all the kids choline and inositol. They'll be happy. But they work to support healthy nerve and brain function, and they also help with blood sugar regulation. So guess which organ, besides the pancreas, helps with blood sugar regulation? Yes, the liver. Well, and the kidneys too. But the liver is really responsible for breaking down a lot of those sugars. They go straight to the liver. So choline and inositol support that. SP Green Food, like I said, I like to take this all the time. I don't take as much when I'm not on the Purification Program, but it really helps to promote healthy liver function. I know if I'm not sleeping, it's because of my liver. And it also provides healthy antioxidant activity. We talked about how the antioxidants are scavenging cellular waste products from our body. It's supporting overall cellular health, getting those phytonutrients, so those plant-based nutrients. Now, I don't really put a whole lot of emphasis on cholesterol, but it does make sure that our cholesterol metabolism is within that normal range and helps keep it there. And then the normal elimination of toxins. So if our liver's not happy, we're not going to get rid of those toxins. Do you hear the theme in this? If our liver's not happy, we can't jumpstart our health because it's not going to get those toxins out. So a purification program is a great way to jumpstart your health because of how it's getting those toxins out. The key ingredients, we hear so much about kale these days. I recently made shaved Brussels sprouts. Oh my God, they were amazing. I was so bummed when they were done. I posted some pictures on Instagram. So if you want to go to jennifer.schmidt on Instagram, you'll find my Brussels sprout picture. I've got a beautiful salmon fillet on top of those Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts and kale work together to support normal growth and division of cells. Whoa, what's abnormal growth and division of cells? Yeah, that would be cancer. Supports cholesterol mechanism, supports antioxidant protection. Again, getting those scavengers out. You guys, everything poops. Even the bacteria in our body, our cells, they're all getting rid of these wastes, and we need to make sure that they are out of our body. Help with detoxification. Buckwheat, again, wow, buckwheat must be pretty cool. And in this case, it's the buckwheat leaves and the seeds that are used. That's why it's paleo safe. And the protein extract of buckwheat has been shown to help increase muscle mass and reduce body fat. Contains powerful antioxidants, again, that antioxidant word, to help detoxify the liver. So here's a picture of barley grass. It's providing antioxidant activity, supplying minerals. Alfalfa, historically used for bladder and kidney support. As I said, I like alfalfa to help support the thyroid. And it's used today for indigestion and ridding toxins from the body. And then fiber. So most people don't get enough fiber in their diet because they don't eat enough vegetables. You know, if you're eating pizza and burgers and fries and a bowl of cereal for breakfast, there are no veggies in that. So you're not getting enough fiber. And so fiber helps to soften the stool and get it out of our body. It promotes a healthy gut. How does it do that? Well, remember those bacteria I talked about? Those bacteria in the gut need a specific pH. So they need a slightly acidic environment to really flourish. And the fiber helps to do that. So you can think that the fiber is really helping with the soil of your gut, especially your large intestine. And then fiber also helps to maintain blood glucose levels. It's getting, again, because it's helping the liver and getting those toxins out. There are also some supportive products that you can do on the purification program in addition to the foundational products. Some people need extra protein support. So there's an additional Whey Pro Complete you can add for that. This is especially important for anyone who's doing any type of bodybuilding or extreme athletic activities, not even extreme athletic activities, but if you're someone who's doing CrossFit 4 or 5 times a week, you need that extra protein. Getting some extra omega-3 fatty acids comes in the form of a tuna omega-3 oil. I love to put the calamari omega-3 liquid into my smoothies. You can't even taste it. It's not fishy at all. It's so delicious. And sometimes I'll just do shots of it. It's really tasty. And so getting omega-3 for our cardiovascular system to help prevent inflammation, for our brain, we need fats, you guys. Don't believe the party line. We need fats in our body. There's an Ayurvedic or an East Indian herb named Gymnema that has been known for centuries to help maintain blood sugar levels, can help regenerate a pancreas, and also helps to block our sweet cravings. So some people need some extra Gymnema because their sweet cravings are so strong that they can't think about anything else. Prosymbiotic is both a pre and probiotic that supports gut flora and overall intestinal health. There's also some other products such as Linum B6, which contains flaxseed oil to help maintain healthy skin and nerve tissue and blood fat levels. So some people like to take a flaxseed oil. Linum B6 is a pearl that you can swallow. So when you're doing the purification program, what does it look like? What are you eating? That's the important question, right? What are you doing? What are you eating? Well, days 1 through 10, you're eating unlimited, raw and cooked, organic if possible, fruits and veggies, particularly green leafy vegetables. Now, the way you want to think about it is you want twice as many vegetables as fruit. That's very important. If you're someone with an elevated hemoglobin A1C, and for me, elevated is anywhere from 5.1 and up, not the marker of 5.7. That's in conventional medicine. Really, 5.2 and up is an indication that your body is struggling with blood sugar. Really only 2 servings of fruits a day, ever. and I recommend doing that in the shakes. So you put your fruit in the shakes and that's it. Then you can, if you're hungry during the day, you can gnaw on some carrots or, get a handful of pumpkin seeds, anything like that. Speaking of seeds, you are allowed to have some soaked lentils, quinoa, and seeds. There's a brand called Go Raw, and I'm not endorsed. No conflict of interest. I'm not getting paid by them, but Go Raw is my favorite brand for sprouted pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. They're sprouted and dehydrated. So they soak them in salt water and then they dry them at a low temperature. Oh my gosh, they're so yummy. So those are really good. You also can have some lentils and quinoa, about a half a cup of each a day. For those of you who are paleo or really want to lose weight, you can cut the lentils and quinoa out completely. Lots of spring water. You want to make sure you're getting plenty of good water on this program. To help your body flush those toxins out, we need water. Most of us do not get enough water. High quality fats and oils. This one is huge. What are high quality fats and oils? Avocado, coconut oil, butter, ghee, extra virgin olive oil, hemp oil. You want to make sure that you're getting your healthy fats and high quality ones at that. And then of course, hopefully you're exercising and or sweating at least 4 days per week. Don't have to go crazy. Go for a walk, a 2 or 3 mile walk if you want to, but you want to make sure that you're moving your body at least 4 days a week, hopefully more than that. For those of you where you just feel so exhausted and depleted during the program or just in general, You can induce a sweat through infrared sauna or a hot ginger bath. And you can reach out to me if you have questions about how to do that. Days 11 to 21 are the exact same as days 1 to 10, except we add in some animal protein through the form of fish or lean meat. So I do a lot of salmon while I'm on the program, cod, wild mahi-mahi. I stay away from seafood, but like a shellfish, but I do quite a bit of fish, halibut, sole. Those are always very good. Some people do need to start the fish and meat earlier in the program, and that's totally okay. That's something that you can work out with me, your holistic healthcare provider, because I want to make sure that this program is customized for you. So as you can see, there's no deprivation. It's all about eating really good, clean food. What do you want to avoid? Well, when you sign up for the program, you're going to get a program guide, and you want to avoid anything that's not listed in the program guide. So margarines or spreads, all those polyunsaturated oils are so bad for you. Crisco, bleh. Safflower oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, all of those. No caffeine and alcohol. This is why I help people to prepare for the program by helping them to wean off of caffeine, wean off of alcohol. There are ways we can support the adrenal glands with adaptogenic herbs so that the caffeine withdrawal is not as strong and you're not lying on your desk with your head asleep because you didn't have your cup of coffee. I'm a big fan of preventing that withdrawal as well, that withdrawal headache, so painful. So again, coffee, tobacco, other stimulants, no soft drinks. We're going to go nut and bean free. We're also going dairy and grain free with the exception of the SP Complete or the Whey Pro Complete and butter. And we're going to avoid grains except for the quinoa. And we're going to avoid beans except for the lentils. Processed or refined foods. Nothing in a box, my friends. No Annie's mac and cheese. No frozen dinners. No fast food. We're going fresh all the way. We're going to avoid dried canned vegetables and fruit. And part of that is because dried fruits are very, very high in sugar and they can contain sulfites. And the canned foods just don't have the same nutrients. And then we're also going to be avoiding cured, smoked, or luncheon meats. Sorry, you guys, no bacon while you're on the 21-day program, but we can try it out again out on the post-purification days. And part of this is because most cured, smoked, and luncheon meats have so many toxins and chemicals in them. They're so processed. You have to really go out of your way to find good, high-quality bacon. So, for example, last night, I made a few courses. I had a friend over for dinner. So I made a few courses. And my first course was a green salad, which you can see there on the left, with a combination of wild greens, wild baby greens with a few sunflower seeds and some radishes that I sliced up. And then I made some sauteed cabbage and onions. So it didn't take me very long to make the cabbage. Maybe, I sauteed the onions for about 5 minutes, and then I put in the cabbage, sauteed those for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's all ready. That was what I called first course. Second course was a really delicious cream of broccoli soup. And the third course was baked salmon. And the dessert was a berry shake that I had made. Now, I don't have pictures of the second and third course or the dessert because I ate them. It was so good. I forgot to take pictures. What happens when you start eating fresh food is that it starts to taste really delicious. Your flavor receptors, your taste buds change, they morph so that you get used to eating really delicious fresh foods and they taste good. And I promise you, those Brussels sprouts, I love Brussels sprouts. I used to not like them because I was used to processed foods, but now they're one of my favorites. Okay, so with the supplements, it's a little bit different from the food. Days 1 to 7, you're doing 2 to 3 shakes a day, and you're taking 7 SP Cleanse capsules 3 times a day. And so 1 bottle will last you a week. I know that sounds like a lot, but number 1, you can actually open up the capsules and put them into your smoothies. Or you can just pop them down in a handful, which is what I usually do. But really, it goes fast. The SP Cleanse, it's a little bit of product in the capsule. So a lot of people just open the capsules up and put them right into their shakes. And then you can do Gastro-Fiber or whole food fiber with each shake. Days 8 to 21, you swap out the SP Cleanse for SP Green Food, and you're only taking 5 capsules twice a day. So it lightens up days 8 to 21. So I want to tell you why I have so much support and extra materials available for people as a way for me to support you during the program, and then during the program, a way for us to support each other. And here's why. The first time I did this program was about 8 years ago. And the practitioner said, here you go. Here's the program. Here's some extra supplements I think you should take. And that was it. There was no support. She didn't do a toxicity questionnaire to see what my burden might be. She didn't ask me about my past or current health issues. Nothing. She just said, here you go. Well, let me tell you, I got so sick. I thought I was dying. I was achy and fluey and miserable. And it was a combination of the purification program of detoxing so fast and the extra products that she had given me to take during the purification program. I don't ever want that to happen to my people. I want you guys to thrive while you're doing the purification program. So here's what that looks like. We have weekly classes and Q&As. I'm going to have a live class in Santa Clara, and I'm going to have an online class. So those of you who are joining us from far and away can join us as well. I have a Facebook group. If you haven't joined yet, it's called the Wellness Oasis, and we'll be there supporting each other. I post recipes up there. You can talk about your wins and your challenges and everything that's going right for you. You can talk about your frustrations, like, oh my God, I just wanted to drink a cup of coffee. Somebody help me. I offer everyone a 30-minute intake and goal setting session before the start of the program, preferably 1 week before, so I can help you wean off of your coffee and alcohol if necessary. Well, in the middle of the program, we get a 15-minute phone or in-person check-in, get lots and lots of delicious recipes, and I also give everyone complimentary access to my online nutrition class. So there's a lot of value in this. An intake session with me normally costs $230. And as part of the program, I'm offering it as part of the program because it's really important to me that you get a customized purification program that fits you, not a one-size-fits-all approach. I want something that's perfect for you. I want to know what your goals are. I want to know how I can support you through this. Here are the dates of the program, the important dates of the program. So March 28th, it's a Monday night. We're going to have our first class. Going to have last-minute tips about what the program looks like, movement, exercise, supporting each other, Q&A, all of that stuff. March 29th is a Tuesday, program blast off. Woohoo! Okay, so a lot of people have already come to me and said that March 29th doesn't work for them because their kids are on spring break. No worries. You can start the program whenever you want. I have a few people who are starting in mid-April, and that's okay because guess what? They'll still have access to me. They'll still get all the support from me, and they can watch the classes online at their leisure. How perfect is that, right? So that's the official start date, but if you need a different one, I'm totally flexible to work with you. April 5th, we're going to have our second class about food because I love food. We're going to talk about recipes and taste, what can you do to inspire yourself taste-wise? Because this is when you're going to start to run out of ideas. So we're going to give you lots of ideas, set you up with menus. We're going to talk about food after the program a little bit as well. So you know what that looks like. Class number 3, April 12th. By the way, April 5th, 12th, and 19th are all Tuesdays. April 12th, we're going to talk about the importance of body work, movement, and meditation for detoxing and for daily life. This is really important because it's not all about food. Believe it or not, it's about so much else. And April 19th, class number 4, we're going to have a big party. Woohoo! Especially for those people who are doing the program live. And we're going to talk about where we can go from here. So what does it look like? You've done this purification program. Now what? You'll already have some post-purification menus, but what's your life going to look like from here? What choices are you going to make? And like I said, if you can't make an in-person or an online class, no problem. I'm recording everything so that you can listen at your convenience. So the total cost of the program, if we add everything up, the foundation supplements, the support from me, all the extra materials, is $944. I think that's kind of crazy. So I love to be generous. Your cost is $350. I want you guys to be successful with this, and I don't want cost to be an issue. I want you to be able to buy organic vegetables and fruit and high quality grass-fed and pasture-raised and wild meats. So I'm making it available to everyone for $350. If you sign up today, you can take it for, you can do the whole program for $300. So I'm super excited to offer this to you. I've seen so much success from this. I feel really great after I do the purification program. My weight doesn't shift too much, but my clothes do. I notice I need like an extra belt buckle. I got to go a few extra holes on my belt or I need to get a belt to hold my pants up because suddenly my tight jeggings, my leggings aren't staying up anymore. So I want you guys to be successful with this. I don't want cost to be an issue. So you can sign up today for $300. That's a huge savings for you guys. How do you sign up? Well, the easiest way to do that is to go to this website. This is my website, www.earthbasedmedicine.com/spring. It's a password protected site for a few reasons, but the password is health, easy enough to come by. And when you go to that website, you're going to click on a button. You can click on a photo actually, and it's going to route you to MindBody, which is the online scheduling program that I use. If you don't have an account with MindBody, then it only takes a couple minutes to set one up, and you can purchase a program through MindBody right then and there. So again, you can go to earthbasedmedicine.com/spring, and the password is health. If you get confused about that, don't worry. You can email me or call me, and we'll get you set up. All right. So the purification program like I said, is a great way to purify your body, transform your life, jumpstart your health. Let's make 2016 your healthiest year ever. There is a cookbook I mentioned, 1 degree of change. Sorry, I said 21 degrees of change at the beginning of the webinar. It's 1 degree of change, just 1 degree of change. This purification program. You can download the cookbook for free. But you know what? I'm a big fan of hard copies. I like to write things in my recipe books. And so you can also order the cookbook as part of your program. Now, I said that I was going to be giving away a cookbook at the end of this webinar to people who signed in the chat box. And so I'm going to write some names on a piece of paper. If you'll just give me a second. All right, so I'm going to write these names down. I'm putting them in a bowl. You guys can't see me. Putting them in a bowl. Okay. All right. Okay, so I have all these names written down. Put them in a bowl. Dun, 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 dun. All right. And our big winner is Nancy from Austin. Awesome job, Nancy. You are a winner of the free cookbook. Congratulations. If you will do me a huge favor and email me your address so I can ship this off to you. It's going to come via UPS. So Nancy, if you'll email me at jennifer@earthbasedmedicine.com, you'll see that right there. Nancy, that's the email address to send me your address so I can get you the cookbook. Congratulations. So for the rest of you guys, if you think of a question after the webinar, feel free to email me. You can always put it in the chat box again if anything comes up. In fact, does anybody has a last call for questions in the chat box? If anyone has any questions, let them be known now so I can answer them for everybody, because you never know. As I said, you can do it paleo. You can be paleo while on the purification program. Absolutely. And if you think of any questions, please email me at jennifer@earthbasedmedicine.com. So thank you so much for attending today. This is the end of the webinar. We're right at 60 minutes. I really hope you'll join us on our spring cleaning and purification adventure. Again, here's the website to purchase the program. It's www.earthbasedmedicine.com/spring. And the password is health, HEALTH. Such an honor to be here with you on this journey. I really have enjoyed speaking with you today. Please reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. And I'm going to stop the screen share if I can. There we go. All right, you guys. So thank you so much. I'm super excited you joined us. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. You can email me at jennifer@earthbasedmedicine.com. You can also ask me a question on our Facebook group, The Wellness Oasis. Hope to see you there. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.